What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Champion Living Podcast, the only podcast crossing the lines between the sport of rodeo and fitness. Today's episode, we have Chase Dougherty in the house, going to be talking all things about bull riding, PBR teams, his journey through fitness and rodeo, and we're diving in right now.
$39. It's going to warm up to like 60 today, but got to have a park on.
Yeah, got to act the part.
Sure.
But I will say down there when it gets cold like that, it just feels way colder. I don't know why. But,
well, especially it was probably like 85, 90 2 days ago. That's what it was.
Yeah. And it does. It kind of bites into you down here.
Yeah, I will agree with that. The humidity eats you up. Well, dude, thanks for coming on. For everyone listening, Chase Dougherty, PBR bull rider, PRCA bull rider, Arizona Ridge rider, among many other things. Dad, cowboy, man, fuck, you got it all going on. Really stoked to have you on the show this morning, man. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be on here.
Heck yeah, dude. Today I just wanted to, talk about kind of all the things you have going on and kind of bring it back to, a lot of guys have seen you on UTB and seen you on TV riding, seen you with the Ridge Riders, but kind of want to dive into, more about you, how you got your start, your ups and downs throughout your career, what you've been doing to, make yourself a better bull rider as you get older, which is not always the easiest thing to do. So we're going to kind of jump into it all, but why don't you just kind of kick it off, little introduction of yourself, what growing up looked like and getting on bulls, if you got on bulls when you were a kid or rodeoed or anything like that.
Yeah, so, I started riding calves when I was 7. My dad rode bulls. He was the only cowboy in our whole family. Our family was truckers, and then in California, they liked football over there. That was Montana and California, met up in Oregon. Dad wanted to be a cowboy. The only thing he knew how to do to be a cowboy was ride bulls. He watched it on TV, and then I fell in love with it because I watched him do it. Mm-hmm. And, the rest is kind of history. Dawson Branton, I grew up with him and my little brother Colton. And Dawson had an indoor barn, and we would get like 30 head of Caddish bulls every winter in high school and buck the shit out of them. And that was pretty much how we learned. We had a really good mentor with Myron Duar. He was always there. He made the NFR, I think, 7 or 8 times, and he helped us ride bulls really well. And then after that, I went to college, MSU Bozeman, for about a year and a half. I thought I was going to be an accountant, and that was pretty fucking dumb. But probably cost me an NFR qualification with that. But that's all right. It was still fun, and now we're here. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. What I've done.
Man, that's awesome.
And nowadays, pretty much just. It's way harder to ride bulls at 25 than it was at 18, I feel like.
Why do you think that? Like mentally, physically, both?
I think it's both. I think mainly it's mental because this sport is very mental. But I feel like the physical aspect definitely plays into that because I don't when I was 18, I felt like I could get stepped on and then 2 days later I was fine. Yeah. Whereas now, 2 days later, I freaking want to crawl in blood and, just go to sleep for all day. And so when you don't heal up as quick, you kind of plays that toll on your mental side. But that's where your deal's been helping me out a bunch with that recovery.
That's awesome.
I put on like 15 or 16 pounds since I started doing this. So now when I get stepped on, they got a little more to step on. It doesn't hurt so bad.
Yeah, man. What weight did you start out at, and where are you at now?
I started at right around 140, 145 if I had a big breakfast, and then now I'm like 160, right around 160.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I go in between about 155 and 160.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. We're always talking about how increasing, muscle mass is only going to help your durability as a rodeo athlete. You talking about getting stepped on and having a little bit more, padding and some muscle to protect those bones, it really does matter. And it really does, it is going to only help your career in the long run. How long did it take you to start working out in your career, or did you kind of dabble in it along the way?
So I kind of dabbled in it my whole career. I wouldn't say that I had like a program though, like it was kind of more or less like, oh man, I see that guy working out. I better work out for a couple of days,
Yeah.
Or it was like, man, I feel like just don't feel very good. Kind of feel like dog shit. I'm gonna work out to make myself feel better,
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it until what was it, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, 2 years
and
ago,
that was
something
when
like that.
So like 2 years ago was when I really kind of started doing it like a program. I had somebody helping me out. Before it was like I had like 2 sets of dumbbells. I got in there and did 1,000 sit-ups and curled dumbbells until my arms got sore, and that was like it. But now now you guys got me doing all sorts of shit that I didn't even know was possible. But I'm not gonna lie, like half the shit when I first started, I was like, "There's no fucking way this is gonna help." Like, there's no fucking way. Like, this is fucking hard to do. And now I do it, and I'm like, now those things that I hated are my favorite things to do now.
Dude, yeah, that's really cool. I think everyone has, not everyone, but majority of people, especially, just in rodeo, have the similar story where they knew they should be doing something, but they didn't know exactly what to do. So they're watching the next guy, that's where they are, or that is where they want to be. And they're looking at him and saying, all right, he's doing this, I should do that too. And then it evolves into, now there's a lot of coaches available out there in the world, and guys that are specializing in rodeo and girls that are specializing in rodeo, and really being able to formulate these individualized plans for you guys and help you, further your career. What have you, how is like, what made you want to go PBR teams? So you went as an individual rider, and then last year you were picked up by the Arizona Ridge Riders and been with them for 2 years now. So what was the attraction for you to teams? Was it less riding volume, or was it just being a part of something so new for the sport and on the frontier level?
Man, if I'm going to be 110% honest, it was mainly for my family. Just the simple fact that I didn't have to be gone for 3 months out of the year was huge. And to know that I was, whether I broke my leg on the first bull I got on, I was going to get a guaranteed check at the end of the year. Like, that's never been available as long as I've been a bull rider. So that was hard to say no. And that was the main reason. And then to get picked up by the Ridge Riders, I know the general manager pretty well. Both the head coaches I'm good friends with, and then on top of that, there's a bunch of guys on that team that I've rodeoed with before. So it ended up working out really, really well for me.
That's awesome.
That's the main deal. It's the family, just being able to be home. That was the main reason I went to the PBR in the first place. Was because my wife got pregnant, and I just knew it was going to be hard on her to be gone that much, and so I just tried to be home for them.
Yeah. And
now I got to go ahead this winter to go rodeoing again, so we're gonna get that hot and dusty.
Gonna try it out, huh? You go to Denver and Odessa and all that.
Oh yeah. We already went to Seguin. Where else did I go?
That went
Belleville
well.
and Marshall. Yeah, rodeo's been treating me good. I've been to 3 rodeos so far, and they bucked me off 1, and I've won the other 2 rodeos I went to. So,
dude, gotta love that.
I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, heck yeah, absolutely, and only gonna keep you tuned up for, the team series or whatever you want to do. It's only gonna make you better, and nothing like being 91 points and winning a couple of rodeos to help the old noggin and be feeling good, ready to go to the next one.
Mm-hmm. And it helped me going into that team finals for sure. The week before, Colby was I knew I had him nervous because I told him I was going to some rodeo. He wanted it. He didn't want nobody to get on no bulls. He didn't want anybody to go to the Challenger final. He just wanted. I understood why. But hell, I was like, shoot, I'm a fucking bull rider. I'm gonna go get on bulls. So I went. And, heck, it helped me a bunch. I went to that finals feeling like they didn't. I went to that thing feeling like we were going to a team bull riding. I was like, they didn't bring something here that could bug me off, which they didn't. I slapped one, but
hey man, that's
but
awesome.
yeah,
How
no,
was
it
the
helped a bunch being able to go to both. I think
absolutely? I
you just
think
have to be smart about it because you
mm-hmm.
can't just enter everywhere and run yourself ragged and then just feel like shit every time you get on. You got to be smart about it.
Yeah, and being smart
Talk
about
to them
get the things you draw, being able to be like, yep, that's a good fit for me. Like I'm good. That's going to help me out. Or, ooh, that's probably not a good idea. You know, when I look at the stats here, I probably don't want to go get on that thing because he's not going to further me as a bull rider or rodeo athlete. So that's, man, that's really cool and important to hear, especially for younger athletes that are listening right now. Um, you are a business. Like you have to treat your body like a business, and the stock that you're getting on is a large part of your business. And so if you're not able to excel and perform, and don't get me wrong, you got to be able to get by everything. But rodeos at this point now where there's so many animals being bucked and so many competitors that in all reality, if you're at this level that you are, an elite level, and you want to do this for a long time, you've got to be a little selective about what you're going to get on.
Yeah, man. Hey, this ain't the '80s anymore. Like you're not going to make the NFR riding 70 pointers all year long. So
right,
you got it. I mean, hell, it took $130,000 or $40,000 to make the NFR this year.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, when I made the NFR, I think I had 105,000 won, and I come in the final fifth. So you really do have to, and I think they put a cap on the bull riding now. I could be wrong with that, but so like that all I've been to, like you really have to be selective about where you go on. If you can win money there, if you can't win money there. I used to not care what I drew. If I entered a rodeo, I was going to go to there and I was going to get on them no matter what. And I'm still that way with certain rodeos, because sometimes you don't have a choice. But especially with the smaller rodeos, I highly recommend looking up your bulls and figuring it out whether it's worth going to or not.
Absolutely, man. And I think we were all probably the same as well. It's just the generation we grew up in, and there's still some more of that. Like if you don't go get on, no matter what it is, you're a bitch, and you're not going to be a cowboy if you don't go get on these things. You got to be able to get by the eliminators. It's like, dude, that thing just racked my head off the back of its ass for 12 seconds and didn't even buck one time, like screw that. It's
so you be 75. I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'm not going to win anything anyway.
Yeah.
But speak for yourself. I'm not scared to turn one out, though. I'm not scared to sit at home, but
I'm not. I'm not either. It's even harder for you guys. It was harder for you guys because heck, you guys didn't even get day money.
Yeah.
At least if we were 75, there's a good chance we're going to get a couple $100 in day money.
Yeah. Hopefully will change eventually with all the money being added to rodeos and committees doing a ton of things to, improve rodeo, which, obviously the sport is elevating. You just mentioned it right there. Whatever the years where you made the NFR, you had 105 grand one and you went in 5th in the world. And now 15th hole took 130 to make it. It's only getting better. There's only more money to be won and the competition's only going to be elevated. So taking care of, the things you need to take care of on a business level, on an athletic level, man, there couldn't be more of an important time to be on top of those. So having a guy like you on here, I think is really important for younger guys to hear, that the evolution of the sport is happening. It's been happening, and you've been, a big part of that as well. Changing how you look at things, working hard. I know when we first started working together, you went through 2 pretty serious injuries, and like they were, that head injury was kind of sketchy and a little bit scary. So I know that coming back from that, it took a lot of hard work. You want to just fill us in and kind of what happened and what your rehabilitation looked like?
Man, that was rough. That was a rough year on me. So in June, I broke. Man, it was crazy. I had a bull step right on my knee, like my kneecap, and his dew claw went through my knee cavity, went all the way through the bottom of my knee cavity and up, hit my femur bone, bruised my femur bone, and shattered the tip of my kneecap. And so they didn't put no screws in it. They just went in there and pushed the kneecap all back together, and then put me in a splint for like 4 months. And I come back off of that, and I come back a little early. I should have got my leg a little bit bigger. It was still pretty small, and I come back. I got on 3 bulls. I got on Moonlight Party for my 3rd, maybe it was my 4th bull back. Anyways, and he stepped right on my freaking head, and fuck, I thought he killed me, but he didn't, thank God. And yeah, that was tough, man. I was, when that happened, I was out in the arena. I didn't wake up until I was in the ambulance, and when I woke up, I was seeing double really, really bad. Like if I saw you guys up here, and then there would be about another one of you guys, like about 4 foot down and to the left, there'd be another set of you guys. And that didn't really go away until January. Wow. And that was when I talked to Tandy about it, he sent me to a couple different specialists, and they didn't know what to tell me. They wanted me to quit. They pretty much told me to quit. I told them to get fucked. It was pretty much like it was. And I told them like that, quitting's, we're not going to quit, guys. Like that's you guys can take that right out of your brain. So when can I come back? And after that, it was pretty much, well, whenever you feel like you want to come back, you can come back. And so later that year, it worked out real good. Clayton Sellers got married, and I run into Dawson Hay. So Dawson Hay had like pretty much the same kind of thing happen to him. And I was talking to him, and he was saying that he took like 2 weeks off and he started getting back on, and made the finals that year with double division and everything. I didn't think I was that tough, so I took a little more time off. But when I got back on in Denver in January, I still saw a little bit of double, but not bad. And then, heck, that was about 8 months ago. I haven't. It's been good ever since. That was tough. Those are probably the 2 biggest injuries I've had, other than my shoulder surgery.
Yeah, and I remember talking with you, and the knee injury. You said you came back a little bit quick from, and then after that head injury, you were all in on training and like, dude, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to get this thing right. I'm going to work my ass off until I feel like, I'm in a position to be able to go perform like I know I'm capable of. And so you hit the ground running, and you've been working hard since then. You haven't stopped. And I think that's the biggest thing to take away from all this is you went through some really fucking potentially career ending roadblocks. And instead of saying, yeah, okay, I'm done. Well, you pay attention to your health and you realize that you're going to be good enough to get back on. And then you're like, okay, I'm about to do all these things that I should have been doing that I hadn't been doing. And I'm going to be consistent with it. And so here we are, 8 months ago, 8 months down the road, you barely missed a workout, and you've been continually building over those 8 months and getting better and better as you're getting on. Do you think that does physical fitness play a role in, some of the success you're seeing?
Oh fuck yeah, definitely. If I wouldn't have started doing that, my right leg probably still would look like a pencil. Like it really didn't get that much better from June until when I come back. Like I just wasn't I thought I was rehabbing it, but I wasn't doing it like I should have. And then, yeah, when I started working out with you guys, man, it was day and night difference. Like within 3 weeks, I started noticing a huge difference. Like 2 weeks in, weekend, you start to feel a little bit of a difference in your body. You know what I mean? It's huge, in my opinion. Like I told the Ridge Riders as soon as this deal was over, because my contract was up this year. I said, if you guys aren't going to pay for this, I need to know, because I can't stop doing this.
Yeah.
That's how important it is to me, in my opinion.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Obviously we agree with that. But it's always good to hear from our athletes and hear about how it's actually working and benefiting you. And, we're in constant communication. That's the other thing we talk about all the time is to see the max benefit of this, you've got to communicate with your coach, because it's a collaboration. It's not like I'm just like, here, Chase, fucking do this workout. Like, don't ask me any questions, just do it. No, we talk about on a weekly basis, how are we feeling? What's bugging you? Like, what's feeling weak? What's feeling strong? Where are you in the world? Like, are we at home? Are we on the road? Do we have weights? Do we not? And we're constantly evolving these workouts and working through your daily life. And, you've been extremely consistent on the road, at home. And that's that's where you see the differences and the change happen, is when a guy can really stick with it. And, we talk about discipline versus being motivated. A lot of guys are motivated to make the NFR, make the PBR finals, or be on a PBR team, but those guys aren't willing to put the work in on those days that it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like convenient, they easily find a way to be like, oh, I'll just get it tomorrow. And then that trend continues a lot easier than the trend of, oh no, I'm going to show up for myself every day, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour. I have to be in there and get it done, because that's what's going to lead me to my goals, not this, love of the sport and, I work out every now and then. You've got to treat yourself like an athlete and get after it, which is something that just proof's in the pudding, man, especially with you. Like, you've worked really hard this year and you've only seen your career excel. And after injuries like that, like, I would say that's probably somewhat of an anomaly, in the sense of like how medical field would view this. Like, dude, you were seeing double for months, like, and to come back and not only be better and stronger is, man, it's super admirable. And it's really cool to hear about all the hard work that you've been putting in.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, that's, if I was going to, like, for young kids, that's the big deal. If you're thinking about working out, I'd say quit thinking about it and start talking to one of these guys. And if you're already using one of these guys and you're not seeing the benefits, it's because you're not talking to them enough. Mm-hmm. You're paying these guys to make you the best that you can. Bug the shit out of them. I call Doug once a week, if not more. Text him all the time. I'm sure he's tired of hearing from me, but that's what's gotten me to where I am, is I bug the crap out of Doug all the time. So, and if you think that you can get away with, winning a world title and not working out, you're fucking wrong. You're so wrong. Yeah. Because all them guys that are winning world titles are working out. And that's just one more thing to give you the edge. If you're not doing it, somebody else is going to.
Yep. Yeah. And the competition is just heating up so fast, and bulls are getting stronger, more powerful every year. Like, you have to match those and continue to grow. Paul, what do you, man, you're our bull riding expert. Why don't you drop some questions that would be good for younger guys to hear, or anybody listening?
Well, one thing that I kind of want to, it's been on my mind since last night, fresh out, Cooper Davis hanging it up from the individual season. He's going to strictly ride for the teams for now. And Cooper's kind of always been like one of those guys that set the pace as far as like treating themselves like an athlete, trying to help the sport evolve. I remember a few years ago, he wasn't feeling 100%. He wasn't probably less than 90%, but he wasn't 100%. And he took a weekend off, and everybody was kind of like, man, he's taking a weekend off to go hunting just because, whatever hurts, that seems ridiculous. And he said on an interview, he's like, I'm an elite level athlete, and I'm going to act like an elite level athlete. I'm going to take care of myself. And so with this move of him going strictly teams, Chase, do you think that other guys are going to follow in that path? Or is this kind of like, maybe just a one-off thing of Cooper, again, just kind of setting the pace way ahead of his time as far as making that decision?
That's a really good question, because I think it could be a couple different things. That's, in my opinion, I could be 100% wrong with this. So don't hold it against me, Cooper, if I'm wrong. But I think that he's doing it just because, man, he's not that old. He's 28, I think. But he's freaking done everything that a bull rider could do. Mm-hmm. And I think he wants to just spend more time with his family and start to kind of think about life after bull riding a little bit. But he still loves it, obviously, so he wants to do it. And that UTB series, it can really take it out of a guy. Oh yeah. I'm not wrong. Like, when he took that weekend off, it was more like, I think he was sore, don't get me wrong, but I think it was more or less trying to tell the PBR, like, hey, you guys are killing us over here. Like, we need some time off. And which I think they listened. This year is going to be the most rider-friendly year that a UTB has had, and since I've been a part of the PBR anyways. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's still going to be tough. And I think that's the main deal, is he just wants to be as healthy as he can for his team and be able to spend that time with his family. Mm-hmm. I hope I don't think the sport's ready for everybody to go to the team series. In my opinion, there's not enough money in it yet. There's good money in it. Don't get me wrong, but there's way more money to be won in the UTB series, in my opinion, especially if a guy had a good year. And my reasoning behind that is, if you go to the UTB series, the only person that tells you if you get on or not is you. You go to them team deals. If there's a bull in there that your coach doesn't think you can ride, you're not going to get a chance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have way more opportunities to win money in that UTB series, unless you're getting guaranteed money. And from my understanding, there ain't a whole lot of teams that are giving guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not yet.
So I don't think the whole sport is ready to do just the teams yet, by any means. So yeah, I think he definitely is way ahead of his time on that one. But he's ready for it. I know he's going to be fine, you know.
Yeah, everything that you said pretty much, is all kind of has to be true for him to be able to make that decision. Like he's done everything. Like he's not cutting his teeth anymore. He's a seasoned guy who's accomplished all of his goals up until this point, except for this one more goal. So like he has the flexibility to do that. He's got all of his other business ventures and stuff. Like he's good. Like he's not, he doesn't have to worry about making more money at the UTB. Like that's not a factor for him. And, young guys cutting their teeth are obviously have to push it a little bit harder. They don't have the ability to be as selective as an athlete, but the PBR season has never been friendly for a guy being able to take half the year off, like with baseball or basketball or football. Like there's a season and there's an off season. PBR has never really been like that. The only off season was the summer break, and it was filled with challengers and everybody, or the touring pros, and everybody was going to those. And so there was never a time where a guy could take time off like that. And so I think it's interesting to see, kind of how this works out for him.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's going to be really good for him. He's got that. He's going to do. It sounds like he's going to be doing broadcast during the UTV series, so that's great. Yeah, I think that he's definitely going to. A lot of people are going to. I mean, everybody's always wanted to do what Coop's doing because he's pretty good at what he does. But now everybody's really going to want to do what Coop's doing because he's kind of the epitome of what a bull rider can do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's kind of done it all.
I just love it for like what Paul was saying. It makes it so much more like a lot of other sports, right? And now there's like this season of life in which he can go in to become bigger, faster, stronger. And we just don't see that with regular rodeo. And I completely agree with you. I don't know any of the details on the finances of the teams and contracts and all that kind of stuff. But I think as that grows, if it continues to grow and a guy can sign a 6-figure contract that's guaranteed money with the bonuses at the events and winning a world title, and if he can just stick to the teams thing, you think about that sport volume. If you're getting on 100 bulls a year, and then you've got this other guy that's getting on 50, right? So in 2 years, he gets on the same amount of bulls as you get on in 1 year. It's still rodeo. Freak things can happen, and it can be done just like that. But theoretically, other things being equal, that guy could rodeo potentially for maybe twice as long in theory. Okay. If nothing else, it extends our career by a few years at the very worst. And so I love that. I think that we've seen that with Casey Field in rodeo. Casey, it didn't necessarily maybe work the way he wanted it to this year by barely missing the NFR, but Casey goes to less than 40 rodeos a year, or 40, 42 rodeos a year. He's getting on half the bucking horses as the 18 and 19-year-olds. And so he's still, he's getting up there. He's getting a little long in the tooth and still rides fantastic. And that sport volume plays such a huge role in your career longevity. Yeah. That's what I'm excited for. Is I love that he's doing it. Whether we're ready or not, probably not. But I'm excited about the day in which we are, because I think that moves you guys to a place where you can be healthier for longer. We can see a whole new caliber of athlete developed because of that time we have to be able to strictly focus on training and nutrition.
Yeah. I didn't really think about it like that either. Yeah. Cause now you might, whereas, Cooper's, he might have, if he would have done both, he might have been like completely done at 30. Whereas now he might be he might go till he's 35, 36.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, you never know. He might be at the next Ed and go till he's 43.
Yeah.
But I guess I never did look at it quite like that, and it does make sense for Casey in that aspect. I'd say in the rodeo world, the only difference would be those first couple of years, you kind of do have to bust your ass.
I completely agree.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
To do that. But heck, those first couple of years, if you bust your ass, that's when you should be busting your ass. That's when your body can take it, in my opinion.
Yep. Completely agree.
I agree with that 1,000%.
I just looked up the stats, and Cooper got on 25 bulls this regular season for the teams. Rode 15, so 60%. If he's coming in healthy, generally in rodeo, we're breaking our bodies down for 9 to 11 months out of the year. And we have 1 to 3 months to recover from that. But if he's gonna ride over the course of a 2.5 month season, he got on 25 bulls this year. They could use him a lot more next year because he's gonna be fresh. He's gonna be more resilient.
That's pretty good when you think about
it.
If he made, I don't know how much he made, but say if he made $200,000 for 25 bulls, that's pretty good money,
do the math. Fly there, fly home. You ain't got to be driving all night. You ain't got to be eating at Love's truck stop at 2 a.m.
Staying in a hotel.
You ain't got to be worried about day money, staying at hotels. I just think that it could be. I hope that it is the future of the sport to a degree. There will always be a place for rodeo and for grinding it out. 100%. I don't ever want that to die, but I am excited for the day where that top tier guy can step into this new world of being able to be a little bit more, maybe elite or whatever the word is exactly, selective, and being able to save his body and still make a great living for his family and provide for a family well into his 30s by being a part of the teams or something similar.
Yep. And I definitely see that happening within the next couple of years. I hope it happens sooner than later, but I would 100% agree. I hope that the PBR teams takes off in the next couple of years and is able to do that for more than just 5 guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Me too, man. And I think that if they can do that for.
Go ahead, Chase. If they could do that for half of the guys in the team series, holy cow, that would change the sport big time.
Yeah. The whole industry would change after that. It'd be massive. You're putting the sport on a whole new level, where we're not having to grind till we die at no matter what age you're at. I think, hell yeah, on your permit, your first 5 years, 6 years of your career should be grind. That's part of the deal. You got to be able to get through that and show you can win through, against all odds. But as you get older, and we talk about Casey not making the finals, which I'm, it's a little near and dear to my heart because Richie got in, but in the same sense, if you want the sport to evolve, you shouldn't penalize a guy for winning $130,000 at 40 rodeos. It doesn't make sense.
No.
You're only, when you start thinking about it, that's a business decision made by the association, which is understandable. But if these guys now don't have a minimum number they have to go to, well, it probably cuts down ticket sales at rodeos because Casey Field's not there, Stetson Wright's not there. Whoever it is can now go win 30 or 40 rodeos, and they're not getting the fan base or the fan draw that they want because those guys aren't necessarily going to be there. They've got them in this place now where, hey, you just won all that money. If you want to keep it all, you better show up to this many rodeos. And that's a little fucked up. It's a little messed up, So for the sport to evolve, I think we have to see both associations not working together, but heading that same direction. And it's cool that the PBR is heading there already.
Yeah. It's kind of we could talk all day about the PRCA and what they do, but you can't, in my opinion, you can't penalize a guy like that for being better than everybody else. It's not his fault he's fucking good enough to win all the money he needs in 40 rodeos.
Wake up in the morning and I piss excellence.
Bareback, right? It's not like in the bull riding where you can just put a rope over him, put your hand in the rope, nod your head, and step off. You're kind of in there,
You're committed.
It's not like you can just enter a couple more rodeos and throw your rigging on and say, open the gate.
No, definitely can't do that. No, it's it's cool to see what the teams are doing and see what, Cooper's been able to step out there and do. It's that just released last night, so we were all talking about it, and it's good to hear your opinion on it too, man. And dude, it's going to be exciting year. I'm really, really stoked you're going to get to go rodeo here for the for half of the season at least until PBR starts back up, the team series. But that's a lot of rodeoing, Bubba. You got a lot of rodeoing ahead of you. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. Yeah,
that's going to be awesome.
Did you hear? But Sage has been. I'm excited for Sage and the team's deal. I think he's going to make some big waves too, as far as like, kind of what Coop's been doing. Setting the tone for where this industry's going. Sage is really, really good at that too, and he's been doing that in the RCA for a long time. But now he's kind of in the realm where he can have a lot of push in the PBR. I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To see what he's got.
Yeah, he's been a huge pioneer for the sport. Just like a lot of you guys, and I think I totally agree with you. And him and Coop they could change the game, man. They could have that much pull that they get what's going, like get it right for the riders for once, and they have their opinions are valued. I'd imagine by the higher ups of each association, and it's about time that these guys start listening to athletes of that caliber and that have been there, and they see the bigger picture. They're not just stuck in this, well, I'm doing good now, it doesn't matter, I don't need to change anything. It's like, no, they care about themselves, but they love the sport. Like this is their life. They fucking love bull riding and rodeo. Like they want to see it get better regardless if it really benefits them or not. I think they want to see all of the riders be benefited and to see the whole sport evolve, which we're right on the cusp of, and we're seeing it evolve a little bit. I'd love to see, I don't know how they would do it, but I'd love to see like PRCA teams somehow, like where it's like 1 or 2 riders from each event, like that would be so exciting to see for me. And then you have, same thing, 5 teams or something. So you got a full perf, 10 guys in an event or whatever. That would be awesome. I think it just gives you.
Yeah, they need to bring back the Winston.
Yeah, the Winston, baby. Yeah, there's one of those on YouTube you can watch from Casper, Wyoming, in like the 70s, and it's in the building. It's still in the same building that the college finals is in, and it's super cool. It's got like a bunch of legends in there. The old Winston Cup or Winston, what was it? The Winston Playoff. I can't remember what they called it, but yeah, the Winston Tour or whatever. Super cool.
That was one of my favorite things when people would push back about the teams, or like the fans do on Facebook. They're like, I wonder what Lane Frost and Tuff Edeman would think about teams, and everybody's like, well, they'd probably be on board since they were the first ones to do it.
Like, considering that they were on a team at one point, winning good money, I bet that they would be all for it.
Yeah,
they were just way ahead of their time there.
People thought the PBR was the one that came up with this idea, which I mean, they definitely, I would say, kind of perfected it or whatever.
Yeah,
PRCA come up with this idea in the 80s, 70s, 80s. Like this has been around. This idea has been around for a long time. It just nobody's really put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
There's never been the funding. Like Leon Coffey put out the Rodeo Association of America in like maybe the 70s or 80s, and it was a full rodeo. There were 2 guys, I think, from each event, and they had home games and away games, and I think they did 1 season and it tanked. There just wasn't the money behind it. It takes the money to be able to get it working. And there was so much working against them. Well, now with all the advancements we have in technology and the ability to market it, and these home cities that were already established, really popular PBR UTB events, now we've already got a built-in fan base for a home team. And so we can go there and we can draw some of the money behind it. And, I just don't personally understand all the hate that the teams get, and it's crazy. On every post that PBR makes about PBR teams, there are dozens of grandpas and grandmas that are just talking about how bull riding is an individual sport and the team thing is obviously not working and this and that. And I'm like, I love it. We were able to go in person to the first ever team event, And it was the most exciting bull riding that I've ever watched. I usually at
Amen.
rodeos, when I was rodeoing, we were long on our way to the next rodeo by the time the bull riding came around. There's no telling how many guys I told I'd pull their rope and it just wasn't there. Like I never really cared to watch, right? You're not competing, you're going to the next thing. Dude, watching that, it was phenomenal, back and forth, especially when you get a team that one rides one and then the other one rides one, and it's back and forth. And dude, you get on the edge of your seat a little bit. I love it. And I have a hard time looking at it objectively from somebody that doesn't enjoy it. I think it's great for the sport, and I think it's great. Better yet, I think it's great for the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, change is hard. Change is really hard for old people.
It is.
Yeah.
I didn't like the idea of it when it first came around. I was skeptical too, because heck yeah, bull riding's always been individual, but I think and I'm still a little skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, but I like the way that it's heading, and I think it could be great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, change is hard, and I think them guys need to open up their minds a little bit to what could happen and see it from all sides, not just however they're looking at it. You know what I mean?
I don't even know how they would view it.
Yep.
It's hard for me to put myself in that headspace as well, Logan. Like, I don't understand where the hatred comes from. It's still bull riding. It's still guys, you know, like overcoming the impossible, and now they're just doing it with a bunch of camaraderie and a bunch of guys behind their back. And you actually see more bulls get ridden because they're getting put in their specialty. Like, like Colby picks bulls for Chase that he knows Chase is going to be very confident on and whoop on, you know, and he also knows that, hey, this bull might test Chase, but he's our best option for this bull. And like the whole team gets behind it and is fired up. Dude, I just on the back of the bucking shoots in Arizona.
Nobody else. I'm the only one that wants to get on that son of a bitch. So they're like, yeah, come on, Chase. Got it. But, all right.
Thanks for taking one for the team, buddy.
Yeah.
But the energy is, man, I've never seen energy like that at a bull riding. And, you know, I've been with the Ridge Riders.
Man, I love it because I love that when they're all like, fuck, I don't know if I can ride this. Well, I guess we'll just put Chase on him. I'll show you some.
You're the Iron Man.
It's really cool, and I agree that we're on the cusp of something potentially that could be really, really great. And if you do care about bull riding and rodeo in general, then you by nature have to care for the athlete. And there's no argument that you can make, no logical argument that you can make that I at least have heard yet, in which this is not good for the athlete, especially as they have families and children, and they're missing birthdays and they're missing anniversaries and they're missing concerts and all these things that their kids are in while they're just having to rodeo their guts out to win that $350 day money check so they can send it home to buy the kid new shoes. In no way is having a contract a bad thing for the family man that is an elite level bull rider. And so if we can move in that direction and it takes care of the athlete, by nature, you have to embrace that idea if you really truly love rodeo.
Yep. I feel like I feel like in the last handful of 5 years since I've been rodeoing, we've been doing a really, really good job of taking care of these animal athletes. And I think that I'm not trying to say that we haven't been taking care of the athletes as well. I just feel like the animal athletes have advanced so much farther than our human athletes that now I think that the industry needs to focus more on our young guys and the guys that are still riding, and we need to bring our level of riders up to our level of stock.
100%, dude. Yeah, it's become a bull bucking competition in a lot of places lately.
It kind of has.
You'll buck off everybody, or especially these smaller rodeos, you'll buck everybody off, or you'll ride one or two, and like with the development of the genetics with the ABBI and everything, it's becoming bull bucking, not bull riding. And I think this is the first step in combating that, because we can't breed bull riders, but we can build them. We can at least build them, and if it takes the team, if it takes like what we're doing, like that's kind of our whole mission, is to just build better rodeo athletes. And so like that's our only option as far as keeping up with the four-legged athletes. Like we can't breed them. There's no other option.
Those schools that you guys put on, I think that's great too. I think that's a really good step in the right direction. You get those, get some guys around it and teach them the right thing, you know, because there's a lot of guys out there that think they know how to ride bulls, and there's probably 10% of those guys that think they know how to ride bulls that actually know how to ride bulls. And those are the guys that people should be learning from. And those 10% that actually know how to ride bulls, there might be 1% of those people that are actually training, you know, teaching it.
Yeah.
Or able to clearly communicate what to do, right? I mean,
That's
we've
the
seen the
thing.
guys at
That's
schools,
the
we've
thing.
seen instructors, we've
yeah,
seen
that's a whole-
instructors.
I know how many-
They get on the spur board and they look absolutely horrendous. Load a bucking horse and they'll be 91.5. They look horrendous. And then when they're like teaching a student, they're like, well, you like push on the thing and you like do the with this leg is like doing the thing. And this kid is just more confused when he comes to that school than when he got there. He has no idea. And so there's those guys that can do it really well and they just do it. And then there are those that study the sport. They study the mechanics and they're able to clearly communicate this is the next step for you. They're able to see where that student is at. And that's where I think, you know, that whether it's PBR, whether it's our OPA, whether it's a combination of the two, the PRCA, these development camps, right? Where we take those 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, we bring them in. They're not, I don't care how good you are, you're not too good for one of these schools. You come in and not only do you learn how to train and how important nutrition is, but we get you on like rider-friendly bulls in which you can work on that one thing. You can work on that free arm, right? Well, I know this bull is going to be around. He's going to be 18-pointer around here to the left. And so you can work on your free arm here. Like that's what our objective is. And that's what we try to do with our bucking horse camps. And I really think there's a place for that, for these young guys to be able to build them, like Paul said, and develop them and get them ready and confident to take the next level instead of landing on their freaking ass at the end of the gate. You don't learn anything when you're on for 1.2 seconds. And that's what so many of these guys are doing.
Yep. And if nothing else, when you go to those schools, if nothing else, you're going to be around some guys, some veterans that have been there, done that.
Yes.
Have good mental aspect on it. You're gonna get something out of it, no matter what. I guarantee you. And I went to a handful of different bull riding schools, and I had to because of that fact. You go to one bull riding school, and the guys teach the same thing, but one guy I felt like I didn't understand a word he fucking said, and then another guy everything he said just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely takes... just like you're saying, you get on one, and the guy's like, "You just get on there and fucking hang on and till the buzz, put a leg on each side, keep there for 8 seconds."
Yeah.
Oh, that's it, man. That's it, and that's why we have more than one coach for each event at our schools, because one guy is going to explain it. We're all explaining the same thing, but these kids are going to pick it up from one of these 4 mouths rather than just the one guy saying it. Right? I can explain something to somebody, and he's looking at me like, what in the fuck are you saying? And then Logan goes and says the same thing in different words, and he's like, ding, got it. Everyone learns differently, everyone's different in that aspect. So it's a big benefit. And I know we're bringing bull riding OPA to life this year in 2024, and Chase will definitely be a part of that. I'm fired up about that. We're just about to head to Huntsville this week, and we're doing our OPA down there, going to buck a bunch of horses and got some guys showing up. It's going to be awesome. But I think that, man, just hearing that from you, like these schools are developing the athlete and developing the next generation of rodeo. And if there aren't people putting time into that, we're not going to have rodeo. We're not going to have these guys. We're just going to have really elite bucking stock and fucking test dummies. And that's it.
Which is where we're at right now.
Yeah. Like look at the NFL or any of those other big name sports. They have their top, maybe not like Tom Brady and them guys, but I'm sure they do it too. They go to all these schools and have like these little play days that can get all these kids interested in it. And then they do, man, you can find a fucking football camp 10 miles from the house, anywhere you live in the United States. Like that's the reason that rodeo isn't as big as, because we don't do that. Yeah. We don't go to schools. We don't tell these kids like, hey, you guys should ride bulls. You should rope, We don't have play days like that. I mean, we do, but not on the same. I'm guilty of it too. Don't get me wrong, but we all need to do a little bit more of that, getting out there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. Our focus is on the wrong thing, and we're seeing this gap. I found out the other day that the ABBI has over 1,000 registered breeders. 1,000.
Holy smokes.
How many bull riders are there that have cards?
I
Like
think
Barely.
like
500 maybe.
Yeah.
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 Then there may be 100
There's
of them
more
that are actually
bull
winning money.
breeders than there are bull riders. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yep. That is a huge
Stop breeding
problem.
bulls and start teaching it to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Bottom line.
Dude,
Dude, we're
probably make
gonna.
about the same amount of money. Nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely could.
No kidding.
Definitely could. There's so many avenues to help, and I think just what you guys just said there, like everybody needs to be a part of this. Stock contractors, associations, cowboys. We all need to be doing a little bit better job of being advocates for the sport that we love and the way of life that we love so much. We're gonna end it on that because that's a mic drop. Like everyone, get out there. If you love rodeo and you're a part of this, go help somebody. Go get someone involved. If you don't know, steer them in a direction towards a school. Like Josh Frost called me the other day. He's like, dude, I have this kid. He's 16. He rides bulls really good, and he spurs the shit out of bareback horses. Is OPA good for you? Is good for him? And I'm like, yes, like that would be good. He's like, what about these other schools? And I gave my honest opinion. And I don't ever talk shit, like, because helping is helping. But there are different places you can go now. There isn't just this, oh, there's a school. I got to go get on 100 colts or 100 calves or, literally get on 20. I remember me and Richmond getting on 11 to 13 bucking horses a day at schools just to try and get reps. Yeah. And like, we literally got killed off half the time, because the horses are never been bucked. It's a fucking train wreck. We are changing the game with OPA and Optimal Performance Academy and setting this up in a very, like, you're able to learn. We understand, we've been there, and we haven't been there. Paul's been there on bulls, but as we start expanding, we will find people that have been there and can teach those events, and we will just teach our curriculum behind that. But our goal is to find masters at every single event and put this forward into helping everything. I don't know shit about tie down roping, but I know some guys that really do, you know what I mean? So we can do an OPA for that. But definitely 2024, y'all listening, we look on the lookout for one more buck and horse riding school, and our bull riding premiere will be happening this year. And I know, again, Chase will be a huge part of that. We've already been talking about this for months. So we're going to get it. I know Colby's down for it. He was super pumped about it. So it'll be an exciting school and first of its kind. I really think that when the associations, the PRCA is already joined on and partnered with us, but when the PBR sees what we're doing for and can do for the bull riding world, I think that this is a no-brainer, and hopefully they'll be willing to team up and help everybody else, But dude, Chase, thank you so much for being here today, buddy. We really appreciate you. And as always, it's always fun to chat.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on. I feel like we got some good topics out of the way.
Absolutely, dude. We'll have you on again and kind of catch up with you through about midway through your season and see how rodeo's going. Got to thank our sponsors real quick. Beastmaster Rodeo, been with us since day one. You can use our discount code Champion Living, all one word, uppercase, going to save you 10% on all Beastmaster gear. You can check them out at beastmasterrodeo.com. Hui brands, as you can see, we're all rocking Hui. They just dropped a new fall and winter line, jackets, beanies. They're all sick. Check them out. Use our discount code Champion Living, not case sensitive. It is one word, and you can check them out at getyourhui.com. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you later.